Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrta, Part 2, Chapter 7, Text 15. Now this follows the 24-page purport or commentary, where the topic of the role and the importance of sadhu sangha is expanded. Text 15. The Brahmana was submerged. Brahmana means the Mathura Brahmana who Gopakumar is instructing. The Brahmana was submerged, just like Sarupa, in an ocean of the tastes of pure exalted love, and his whole body, just like Sarupa's, was filled with many symptoms of love. He cried out to Krishna, the foremost of youths, "Oh, Krishna, Krishna, please show yourself." Text 16. He placed a blade of grass between his teeth, bowed down, and with plaintive cries asked of Sarup and of all moving and non-moving living beings, Where is Krishna? Have you seen him here?" Commentary. The Brahmana's voice expressed fear and sorrow. 17. Loudly chanting the all-attractive names of Krishna, the Brahmana clutched Sarup's feet. The Brahmana saw that Sarup, his guru, was drowning in an ocean of love and had lost control of himself by witnessing the love in him. And so the Brahmana wept. Commentary. Sri Sarupa was already constantly submerged in an ocean of Krishna prema, but seeing his disciple transformed, plunged him into even deeper ecstasy. Now both the guru and disciple were utterly immersed in happiness. 18. A moment later, compelled by a great upsurge of love, the Mathura Brahmana got up and began to wander in the forest. There he fainted and fell into a thorny grove of karira trees. Karira trees. See if it says what karira trees are. Just says karira trees, full of thorns. Sa kanataka achite. Karira trees full of thorns. Text 19. Dear mother means it's Maharaj Parikshit speaking to Uttara. All of a sudden, from a distance, came a rich and sweet sounds of flutes and horns mixed with the mooing of cows and the sounds of veenas made from gourds and whistles made from leaves. 20. Awakened by the persistent sounds, Sarupa and the Brahmana ran in its direction. Then they saw Gopala Dev, his body beautifully dark, encircled by a brilliant effulgence. 21. The Lord, unlimited in pastimes, was coming nearby to water his animals and play with his friends in the Yamuna, daughter of the sun. As he approached, he danced with a gait worthy of honor from the playful walk of the king of elephants. Commentary. There is no limit to Krishna's enjoyment. As both guru and disciple looked on, Krishna approached the Jamuna with more than one purpose in mind, He wanted to let his cows and other animals drink from the Yamuna, He wanted to play with the cowherd boys in the water, and he also wanted to meet the gopis, who would later take him across the river in a boat. Krishna and his friends, while coming near, were throwing balls and imitating forest creatures and playing in various other ways. 22. His chief ornament was his unique youth. He was an ocean filled with wonderful waves of beauty. Ever adorned with newer and newer charms, he redoubled the joy of everyone's mind and eyes. 23. All auspicious signs marked his beautiful body. Garlands of nipa flowers adorned his ears, and a peacock feather his hair. A string of pearls decorated his conch-like neck, and his yellow silken garments, upper and lower, shone brilliantly. Commentary. As described in such texts as Samudrika, number 3, these are the bodily signs of a Mahapurusha or great person. Quote, a great person is marked in 32 ways. 5 parts of his body are tender, 5 long, 7 red, 6 high, 3 short, 3 broad, and 3 deep. Unquote. The 5 tender parts of a Mahapurusha's body are the skin, teeth, and finger joints, the hair on the head, and the hair on the body. The 5 long parts are the nose, chin, eyes, arms, and knees. The 7 red parts are the nails, the palate, the upper and lower lips, the edges of the eyes, and the surface of the feet and hands. The 6 high parts are the nose, mouth, nails, chest, waist, and shoulders. The 3 short parts are neck, ankles, and genitals. The 3 broad parts are the waist, chest, and forehead. And the 3 deep parts are the voice, the navel, and intelligence. 24. On his broad chest, home of the Srivatsa mark and Lakshmi, hung a long garland of gunja berries. His waist was like a kingly lion's, his prowess like that of hundreds of lions. The essence of all good fortune worshipped his lotus feet. Nice. Krishna is lion-like. Commentary. Krishna is lion-like not only in external appearance, but also in his strength and courage, which cannot be equaled by hundreds of lions together. 25. Enhancing his dress were many garlands of kadamba flowers, gunja berries, tulsi leaves, and sprouts of shikanda. Various colored flowers adorned his waist, and his belt hung in a way that beautified his hips. His arms, round, broad, and stout, and pleasing to the eyes, his arms shone with splendid golden armlets and bracelets. The fingers of his lotus hands happily played on his charming flute as he held it to his bimba red lips. The unprecedented embellishments of his flute song, anticipated by him alone, bewildered all the universe like an intoxicating nectar. And the restless play of his glances, sidelong and slight, gently decorated his lotus eyes. The splendid dance of his eyebrows, a pair of archer's bows nourished his servant's loving feelings, and his beautiful, ever-smiling lotus face attracted the hearts of the best of sages. Commentary. Krishna is the transcendental Cupid. As Cupid carries a bow from which he shoots flower arrows of desire into the hearts of conditioned souls, so Krishna arches his eyebrows into a shape like Cupid's bow, and when he equips the weapon with his invincible smile, the gravity of self-satisfied mystics is soundly defeated. 29. On the tip of his nose, a nose exquisite like a sesame flower, shone a single pearl born from the forehead of a lordly elephant. Now and then his hand would gracefully brush aside the bees of his locks of hair, which were adorned with dust raised by the cows. Commentary. The Agama scripture, that's the text that speak about deity worship. The Agama scripture confirms that on the tip of his nose, Lord Gopal wears a rare pearl taken from an elephant's brow. Nasagre gaja mauktikam. Text 30. His broad forehead, shaped like a half-moon, glowed with the splendor of his straight-up tilak, formed with clay from the Yamuna. His limbs were painted with designs made of various mountain minerals. He was an ocean full of huge waves of sportive pastimes. Commentary. Sri Yamuna took birth as the daughter of Vivaswan, the sun god, and assumed the form of the most sacred of rivers, flowing through the land of Krishna's favorite pastimes. To further expand her glories, Krishna wears clay from her banks as his auspicious tilak. He also paints designs on his body with local minerals like red gairika and yellow haritala. Red and yellow. 31. Standing in his charming threefold bending pose, sometimes he played various entertaining melodies on his flute, making his dear friends laugh. His feet decorated the earth in all directions. Commentary. As Krishna wanders to every corner of Braja, he leaves the ground marked with his footprints. 32. Surrounding him on all sides were dear friends whose appearance resembled his. And he stood with his elder brother Rama, whose complexion was white, who was bedecked with blue silk garments, whose body was most attractive, and whose Asian dress were just like his own. 33. The weight of the persistent heavy joy of seeing Krishna made the two devotees fall. That's Sarupa and the Brahmana. Indeed, they suddenly threw themselves to the ground as if to offer prostrate obeisances, all their competence lost in the excitement of the moment. Commentary. In this situation, both guru and disciple forgot themselves. In no condition to carry out their social roles, they simply threw themselves helplessly at the feet of Sri Gopaladev, unable even to coherently offer prayers. 34. The Lord, compelled by his love for his dear devotees, ran towards them. And when he reached them, he fainted fell on top of them, embracing them both with his long, mighty arms. Imagine. That Supreme Master, his heart melting with compassion, bathed them with a shower of tears of love. In a moment, he stood up, lifted the two devotees from the ground with both hands, and steadied them, wiping off the tears and dust smeared on the bodies of these devotees. The merciful Lord embraced them over and over again. And right at that spot, he sat on the ground with them and spoke nectarian words to please the Brahmana. The Supreme Lord said, "Blessed and noble Mathura Brahmana, Sri Jana Sharma, Jana Sharma. Yeah. You are the moon born from the ocean of the dynasty of Brahmanas. Are your peace and well-being resplendent in every way?" So now we know his name. As the moon, this is commentary, by its gravitational force, swells the ocean with high tides, so a Brahmana, by his noble qualities, exalts his family. From Sri Krishna's mouth we now hear for the first time the name of the Mathura Brahmana. 38. Only by your influence are my family and I well. By your mercy my heart is attracted to you. I have always looked toward the path by which you would come. Commentary. Krishna wants very much to please Jana Sharma with a warm welcome. He honestly feels that the Brahmana's arrival is auspicious for him. He has been awaiting Jana Sharma's arrival for a long time. 39. By good fortune, you have remembered me, and by good fortune, I have seen you again after so long, dear Brahmana. I am totally under your control. Please feel free to enjoy here as you like. Text 40. Sri Parikshit said, swept away by a great flood of loving ecstasy, Jana Sharma, completely awed, was unable to reply to Krishna or even look at him directly. His throat choking with sobs, his eyes burning with tears. All he could do was place his head on Krishna's lotus feet and cry profusely. 42. Lord Krishna, that crest jewel of munificent persons, was distressed because he couldn't find anything better than himself to offer as a gift. So he removed the ornaments from his own body and decorated the Brahmana with them, making him look like Sarup. Commentary, quote, this learned Brahmana has offered me his very self, Krishna thought, but in return I must give him something more valuable than myself. Otherwise I won't be showing any more generosity than I normally do. But I can't find anything more precious than myself. What can I give him? Thinking like this made Krishna anxious. He then decided to give Jana Sharma something he had never before given to anyone, his own ornaments. But Krishna had to consider seriously before he made that decision, because to give such a gift would verify that he considers his devotees more important than himself. Along with his ornaments, Krishna also gave Jana Sharma a cowherd's form, similar to Sarup's. In this way, Krishna bestowed on Jana Sharma a supreme mercy that only he could give, and Jana Sharma felt completely fulfilled. Okay, purport 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. Commentary. By converting the dry Brahmana Jana Sharma into a young cowherd fit to join the assembly of intimate cowherd friends, Krishna proved that in giving mercy he is unsurpassed. And Jana Sharma, having attained a form like his own guru's, was fully satisfied, semicolon. Like all pure devotees, he aspired only to advance in devotional service to the Lord. Now comes his theories of quotes. This is one from 11:14:14, which is Uddhava Gita. Krishna says to Uddhava, "One who has fixed his consciousness on me does not desire the position or abode of Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, nor an empire on earth, nor sovereignty in the lower planetary systems, nor the eightfold mystic perfections of yoga, nor liberation from birth and death. Such a person desires me only." 11:14:14. And then next is 11:20:34. Krishna to Uddhava, "Because my devotees are possessed of saintly behavior and deep intelligence, they completely dedicate themselves to me and desire nothing besides me, even if I offer them liberation from birth and death." Lord Kapila similarly tells his mother, Canto 3, Chapter 29, "Even if I offer my devotees any kind of liberation," names all 5, "they do not accept it, if it means giving up my service." In the liberated state, 5 kinds of perfection are available. Explains. Residence on the same planet as the Supreme Lord, Salokya. Opulence equal to his, Sharsti. Access to his personal presence, Samipya. A form similar in appearance to his, Sarupya. And oneness with him, Ekatva. But absent devotional service, the Lord's pure devotees refuse these perfections, even when offered by the Lord himself. Certainly then, pure devotees harbor no hidden desire to achieve such rewards. Chapter 25, Kapila says, pure devotees attached to the activities of devotional service and always engaging in the service of my lotus feet never desire to become one with me. Such devotees unflinchingly engage in my service and always join together to glorify my pastimes and activities. Okay. Lord Narayana tells Durvasa Muni, Canto 9, Chapter 4. So Durvasa Muni goes to get relief from the Sudarshan Chakra. Lord Narayan says, "My devotees, always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service, are not interested even in the 4 principles of liberation," names 4 of them, though these are automatically achieved by their service. What then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher heavenly systems? The wives of the Kaliya serpent pray, Canto 10, Chapter 16. They pray to Krishna. "Those who have attained the dust of your lotus feet never hanker for the kingdom of heaven, nor limitless sovereignty, nor the position of Brahma, nor rulers over the earth. They are not interested even in the perfections of yoga or in liberation itself." More references. The queens of Krishna Canto 10, Chapter 83. So we're in Kurukshetra. The queens of Krishna are speaking to Draupadi. Oh, saintly lady, we do not desire dominion over the earth, nor sovereignty of the King of heaven, nor unlimited means for enjoyment, nor do we desire mystic power, or position, or the position of Lord Brahma, or immortality, or even attainment of the kingdom of God. We simply desire to carry on our heads the glorious dust of Lord Krishna's feet, dust enriched by the fragrance of kumkum from his consort's bosom. Same paragraph. The words samrajya and swarajyam mean, respectively, rulership over the earth and rulership over heaven. Bhaugyam refers to the means for enjoyment of both kinds of sovereignty made available. And Vairajyam refers to the powers or siddhis of mystic yogis. Paragraph. The Bhavricha Brahmana, doesn't say who that is, gives alternative meanings to these words, referring to them in the same order to describe lordship over each of the four cardinal directions, beginning with the east. Krishna's queens have no interest in such lordship, nor have they any interest in the opulences called parameshtyam, the position of Brahma, anantyam, liberation, or residence of Vaikuntha, the abode of Sri Hari. They want only the dust of Krishna's feet. Why? Because it is mixed with the aroma of the goddess Lakshmi's kumkum. This is another way of saying that Mahalakshmi aspires to serve Krishna, even though Brahma and the demigods serve her. Paragraph. Mahalakshmi is also one of Krishna's wives, and the dust from her feet mixes with her kumkum. Therefore, the queens of Dwarka are eager to have that dust. The queens will accept dust only from the feet of the darling son of Devaki, not from the feet of any other form of God, because only in Devaki Nandana can they find an unlimited ocean of sweetness. The supreme goddess of fortune, who associates with that original form of Godhead, is Sri Rukmini, his first queen. Paragraph. As the queens reveal in the next verse, they speak. As the queens reveal in the next verse, they speak. The women of Vraja also hanker to obtain the same dust. Canto 10, Chapter 83, same conversation. So the queens are speaking to Draupadi, and the women of Vraja are also speaking in the same chapter. And only 5 verses later. We desire the same contact with Supreme Lord's feet that the young women of Vraja desire, and the cowherd boys, and even the Aborigine Pulinda women, the touch of the dust he leaves on the plants and grass as he tends his cows. That the gopis of Vraja aspire for the dust of Krishna's feet proves beyond any doubt that his feet are the repository of ultimate sweetness. As difficult as it is to obtain that dust, it is easy for devotees like the Vrajvasis who are fully dedicated to Krishna. 2 more paragraphs. The queens want the mercy of Krishna with his supreme consort, not his alone. Krishna may sometimes remain satisfied within himself, but pure Vaishnavas, like the queens of Dwarka, are not interested in that aspect of his personality. They want to serve him in the company of his pleasure potency. They want to know him as the topmost enjoyer of intimate loving exchanges. Gopakumar had a similar attitude. He always wanted to find Sri Madan Gopal in his original form. Gopakumar had opportunities to see and associate with the Supreme Lord in many different places, but he became satisfied only when he finally met Krishna in Brajabhumi. Final paragraph. To achieve ultimate perfection, devotees should first gain the darshan, the divine vision of Sri Krishna. Krishna's darshan arises from the playful impulses of devotional service and stimulates extreme happiness in Krishna's fortunate devotees. It is the prime means for achieving him completely. It's a good place to break. I'll read a little bit more. Then Krishna, with a signal from his flute and a special sound from his mouth, called the cows and made them drink water. Immediately after giving the Brahmana mercy, Krishna turned his attention to watering his cows, buffaloes, and other animals. Text 45. And just by that same peculiar sound, he made the animals stop and lie down in comfortable places. Then, with the two devotees and his elder brother and his other friends, he played in the water. 46. Now and then Krishna would come near his friends who were splashing one another and drenched them with waves. And sometimes the boys would come up to him, the most expert in all sports, and subject him to torrents of waves. And all this, the Lord took delight. Different mood, right? Commentary. When his devotees would sneak up on him from behind and splash water on him, the Supreme Lord would take no offense. Rather, he would very much appreciate being treated to this indignity. As Vinoda Kovida, the most expert knower of sports, he values the attacks, quote, of his friends more than the worship offered him by others. 47. Using Sri Yamuna's flowing water as an instrument, he and his friends played all kinds of auspicious music. And he sported by crossing the river in various ways, both with the current and against it. 48. Sometimes Krishna playfully hid his body in the Yamuna's water and his face in a cluster of lotuses so that no one could find him. Commentary. The river Yamuna is called Krishna because the hue of her water closely resembled Krishna's complexion. And when Krishna hid himself among the lotus flowers that closely resembled his face, it would be difficult for anyone to search him out. 49. With his friends, who had no purpose in life but to see him, looked for him but failed, and they wept in terrible distress, their minds bewildered, and called out to him in ardent voices. Just then, wily Krishna emerged, laughing, from the cluster of lotuses. The boys, their wide-open eyes flooded with joy, rushed forward and jumped into the water to be with him, and in this way he sported. I think I'll end there. I mean, one of the things that happened earlier in chapter 6 was Ashta Kaliya Lila, what Krishna would do at different times of the day. So it seems that what's going on here is, I'm anticipating, it's going to come exchanges with gopis, but he, Sanatana Goswami, is putting on display the various rasas. And stimulation for that kind of ecstatic love is found in his appearance and his speech and his exchanges and everything. It's just for persons who are aspiring devotees, it gives them some attraction. And for those who are very mature devotees, it stimulates ecstatic love directly. And so if these topics are discussed amongst pure devotees, as the Goswamis would do, they would come together and discuss topics of Krishna, they would feel ecstasy. And regardless of their particular spiritual identity, they would enjoy transcendental happiness hearing. So it's for everybody. Exactly what the Bhagavatam says. It's for the lowest and for the highest. It's for the people, the sinful people, and it's for the Paramahamsas and everybody in between. And, he's expert at relishing and narrating and picturing and giving us the image. So if artists would really have a nice time taking any of these pastimes and making artwork, or in the mind's eye to picture the pastimes. Just listening this morning, Prabhupada was describing deity worship as essential, not just important, but essential for neophyte devotees, just to become regulated to the mode of goodness platform and see the form of the Lord and relate to the form of the Lord in a transcendental way. And then comes, further spiritual progress of seeing the Lord in according to one's heart's desire, etc., etc., and he reciprocates and reveals himself accordingly. It's the path is sure, gentle and gradual, but the path takes one to Krishna. And Sanatana Goswami is taking us to the spiritual world through sound. It's very nice. We'll continue tomorrow morning.